Hello and welcome to our program Where God Weeps. Today we have a special program about a simple priest, Father Frano from Malesija. Let's watch now a short film which reveals his life, his vocation, his struggle with cancer, and his sense of mission to help the poor people in the mountains of Montenegro.
Ja se zovem Frano Dušaj, Franivac.
My name is Father Frano Dušaj. I'm a Franciscan of St. Joseph Province in Zadar. I was born here near Tuzi, at a place called Arza, on 24th January 1960. I come from a very devout family that has been close to the Franciscans for more than 100 years. My late grandfather was a Franciscan sacristan. The land on which the church was built belonged to my grandfathers. So we have been linked with the Franciscans for more than 100 years.
Tako da nas veže sa Franjevcima više od 100 ljeta.
Nalazimo se u Malesiji.
We are in Malesija. It is the Albanian zone of Montenegro.
Zona Crne Gore. Znači ovdje konkretno ovaj dio.
This very region belongs to the Hoti tribe.
Dio plemena Hoti. Pleme Hoti.
The border divides the Hoti tribe. One part is in Albania, the other in Montenegro.
Na ovom dijelu Malesije
4 tribes live in this part of Malesija. The North Albanians are organized in tribes, and this is the Hoti tribe. It means that this part of Cijevna includes the Hoti tribe, then come the Gruda tribe, the Triješi tribe, and the Koji tribe. All the 4 tribes are Catholic. Only one house of this tribe went over to Islam during the Turkish rule, the house of a standard bearer.
Jedna kuća Baraktara za vrijeme Turske prešla u Islam.
Koli Kamai, together with his brothers and with time their families, remained living in the Montenegro-Albania border area, from which today almost 2/3 of the population have emigrated in search of a better life. Koli Kamai's strength to survive in these extremely adverse living conditions derives from his family and from their traditional attachment to the church.
It is a custom and tradition of all North Albanian tribes, not only of this one here, that a priest, a Franciscan friar, is a special guest. And it is to him that the first chair, the place of honor, belongs when it comes to any kind of family gathering, be it a wedding or marriage or baptism. The place of honor always belongs to him.
Prvo mjesto.
They are exceptionally respected here, historically, traditionally, and it is for this reason that this religious identity has been preserved.
Uslijed toga je I održan ovdje taj religijski identitet.
Besides Frano, 3 other Franciscan priests and several nuns from Tuzi take care of the pastoral life of this small but very active Catholic community.
Livet gjerne med tjetrën se janë do han kjo nollën vitin që shpa këtë janë do han faqja
kjo përfshin faqen e tretë
kjo janë 3 e
The Archdiocese of Bar, on whose territory Malesija is situated, is one of the oldest in the Balkan Peninsula. It has existed as an archdiocese since 1089. In the past, the Catholic population was significant. However, with time, due to adverse historical circumstances, the rapid propagation of Islam and Orthodox pressure, the number of the faithful and consequently the territory of the archdiocese decreased. Today it is under the direct jurisdiction of Rome. The present bishop, Zefgashi, came to the Archdiocese of Bar from Skadar, in neighboring Albania, where he worked as director of the National Catechetic Institute.
At the moment, the Archdiocese consists of 19 parishes. It has about 15,000 believers, 12 priests with 2 bishops, 1 retired, the other active, a few structures and buildings, and a great desire to survive in these difficult times. It was Saturday. I went into a room, lay down on the bed in the afternoon and cried. And I prayed to God, Lord, give me strength to decide whether to go to the provincial in Zadar and tell him that I cannot take any more, or to continue my mission here. And I remember quite well, I got up and looked out of the window. It was rainy, but a sun ray fell on Our Lady's picture, and I heard a voice. Frano, why are you sad? It was me who brought you here to Montenegro in the south of these countries to work for me. Am I not appearing in Medjugorje? So I need an apostle to bring people to me. I got up from the bed and started jumping about the room, and then I knelt. I got down on my knees in front of the cross and started thinking, God, am I really hearing this, or am I only dreaming? Is this a message? And I felt music inside me and was consoled. There was a period when I was not allowed to drink water. I used to dream of water. I had the feeling that I had to fly out of the window together with the bed to reach water. I dreamt springs, I dreamt the sea, I dreamt rivers. I dreamt I was drinking and could not get to the water. In this I discovered the will of God. What can I do for people who lack water? And an idea occurred to me. I gathered the friars, trying to persuade them, and the friends who were coming to see me, that I need a water tank to supply water to the people. When I told them that, they laughed. They thought I meant something else. They thought I just wanted a toy. And they bought a big toy lorry, a tank lorry, a nicely packed present, and brought it to me as a decorated gift. I was disappointed. Oh God, why can they not understand me? And I explained to them that it was not a toy I wanted. I was not a child. I wanted a real big tank lorry to bring water to people in case of a drought, when they will have no water. They said, "You're a friar, man. This is not a friar's job. You're a priest. Let the municipality, let other institutions take care of that." I said, the Franciscans have been with their flock for centuries, have been with the hungry and the thirsty. Since I'm one of them today, I'm obliged to help these people. While spreading the gospel, let us feed the hungry and give drink to the thirsty. And very soon, after I'd been discharged from the hospital, they took me to consecrate a big Mercedes tank lorry that held 11,000 litres of water. And that was a blessing for this place. It was a small miracle. Even today, when our tank lorry is on the move, it is like a beautiful gift passing by. People are glad to see our tank lorry, for they know that it is St. Anthony's bread that feeds the hungry and gives drink to the thirsty.
Koji hrani i napaja žednoga i gladne ljude. Iza operacije u meni se...
After the operation, a new appetite started to develop in me. What the friars kept saying to us, "Boys, put something into the reservoir of life, so that when dry days come, you may draw from it." During my illness, I was actually getting stronger and stronger spiritually. That is why I did not undergo Calvary, although many say I was on Golgotha. It was there that I made my decision. It was then that I promised Jesus, should I be up and about once again, to work for him even harder. It was there, while I was bedridden, that I decided to do something for the church, when I returned, for the poorest among the poor.
Za najsiromašnije među siromašnima. Hvalni smo dakle svim donatorima.
We're grateful to all donors, especially Aid to the Church in Need, for I think that this is an organization that helps exactly where rarely anyone else wants to help the church. So may the Lord bless all the donors of Aid to the Church in Need, and I call upon them to continue helping the Church in Need in the future too, for where the Church is in need, man is in need also.
A ako je crkva u nevolji, onda to je čovjek u nevolji.
With me in the studio today, I have the privilege to welcome the film directors, Ivan and Mirela Cigic, who spent weeks with Father Frano, coming to know him as well as the suffering Catholics in the hinterlands of Montenegro. Ivan, Mirela, thank you for being with us here today.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
Can you tell us a little bit about the situation facing Catholics in the mountains of Montenegro?
Let me explain first just a little bit where the Malaysia is situated really is. So this is a very small state facing Adriatic coast that in total have about 500,000 inhabitants. The majority of them are Orthodox. There's a small number of Islamic population, and the smallest community is the Catholic one. They are basically, the Malaysia is about 5 to 7 kilometers from the capital of Montenegro called Podgorica. In total, there are about 5,000 Catholics over there who preserved their faith for centuries.
It's a very deep-rooted church in this area, isn't it?
Yes, actually these people were always very religious. They always lived a very traditional way of life. They were raised going to the church regularly. They pray regularly. But this is at the same time very poor community. Majority of the people, due to the historical circumstances, were forced to leave the country. Most of them went to United States of America or Canada, Australia even, or Western Europe. And this small population, small number of people, they stayed, were very religious. Yet they all had the same dream to be able to leave one day, which was very sad.
I want to come to this question of the flight of the Christian flight later on, but I want to just address some of the unique traditions that are in this area. It's almost hidden and somewhat unique traditions which are still prevalent in that area. Can you say, for example, a few words about these traditions?
But for example, what was a little bit different and unusual for us when we arrived there, even though we don't live far away from that region, is that for example, 3 or 4 generations are living together in one home. So now you have grandfather, you have father and their sons with wives, all living in small house. And they don't seem to be bothered, you know, it's so normal to them. And we also noticed when we talk with them, it is always grandfather who talks first and others are just listening, which is very, very unusual. And another thing which was unusual to us and was that we couldn't see a lot of boys and girls on the streets together, which we noticed right away. And we asked our guide who was helping us there during the filming, why was this? And he said because it is a shame that girls and boys meet together before they get married. And of course, our first question was, how do they ever get married? How do they ever meet? Because you can't see girls alone in the cafe bars, in the restaurants. And they said usually it is one of the relatives from the boy's side that goes to the girl's house and talks nicely about him. And nicely means how many relatives his family has in abroad, in America or in Canada.
What difference would this mean? I mean,
that means that they will have enough money, they will send the money and they will be very well off. It will be easier to live because it's rather poor area and no many possibilities for jobs.
So a marketing possibility for a young man
yes.
is if he has an uncle or an aunt living in America
yes.
or in Canada.
Yes.
Very good marketing, very good connection between old and new, basically old tradition and new way of promoting the bride and groom.
Yeah.
Tell me, what are some of the challenges facing Catholics in this area?
Maybe one of the greatest challenges is isolation, really, because although this archdiocese that they are in is the one of the oldest in Adriatic Sea, they have in total about 10,000 believers. And as they are surrounded by the Orthodox population, Islamic population, it's not very easy to communicate. It's not very easy to develop the life as they would wish. So, and economic situation, as we already said, forced them to go out of the country. We also need to mention that, for example, during Ottoman Empire, as they wanted to preserve their religion, they were forced by Ottomans to go to live in the mountains. They were living in the mountains for 4 centuries in very poor condition, and that was just at the beginning of the 20th century when Ottoman Empire was finally gone. They went down to the plains. They were ready to exercise a real new life. That was 1933. That was the time when the Tusi parish was really founded.
You went to do a story about Father Frano. What inspired you to do this story? What was it that attracted you to do this story?
His simplicity and strength, enormous efforts that he is investing basically physically into this community, but at the same time, endless smile on his face. You know, you cannot believe. I mean, he's serving 5,000 people. He is almost every day from 6 o'clock up to 9 o'clock in the evening. He's moving all the time. He's celebrating the Mass. He's visiting he's even bringing the water to the lonely houses in the hills. He never found any minutes. He never found a way to say no to his parish people that are coming to ask him almost anything that you can imagine, from medicine to books to help with the passports, with help with the visas. You know, they consider him as their savior.
And he's one person, but he does work for many different people. For example, for me, it was my first question was, does one priest, Franciscan priest, has to do all this? Take care of the roads, take care of the supplying people with water. We thought his job was in the church and his work with teaching religion, but he's everything there. You know, he represents the social worker, a Franciscan priest, and even the jobs that usually are taken care of by the municipality, people rely on him.
And yet, he's suffering from cancer.
Yes.
How did you live this with him?
Well, he don't want to mention that very often. That's his own that's his own sacrifice. But we forced them to talk to us about it, and he felt it. That was a very painful for him. Not physically, but he was afraid that he will not finish all he intended to do for this small community, and he was really happy when he made successful medical operations, and when he was able to come back and to continue where he stopped before the medical treatment.
How did you feel it, Mirela?
Well, to me, it was amazing the way he accepted his illness and his suffering. First, he had a hard time to accept, yes, I am ill, I have a brain tumor, and I will probably die soon. He was faced with that fact, but yet he said that while laying down in bed in the hospital, he was ready to go to Jesus. And he said he went back through all his life and realized that there was nothing that bothered him, that he could go. But he said at the same time he had this urge to live longer, just to continue to work for Jesus and for his small community. And when he had that chance, finally, when this tumor was operated and when he was able to work again and with full energy, he said that he felt like he's living a new life, and he takes that exactly like a new life, and he starts from the beginning with a full energy. And this is, of course, very difficult for people around him to accept, because they all believe that he will collapse soon. Nobody believed really in his recovery. But
the doctors considered him as a miracle. And basically, when the operation was successfully finished, the doctor came to his room saying, "Now you are like a donkey." And he was insulted. He didn't know why he is calling him a donkey. Just to say that you are again able to bring on your back the Jesus to your community.
Would you call him a holy man?
He is not very happy with this, but I would certainly say that he is a hero of today's church. You know, he is the one that it would be good to multiply him. he's really the guy he's really the priest who is able to move his community forward, new strengths. You know, he is able to find new. He's able to organize survival. He's able to give them a new hope, and that is very important in this moment.
I want to talk briefly about the pastoral center that he built up, which in itself is an extraordinary. What was the reason? Why was it important to build up a pastoral center in this area?
Just as we mentioned before, that there were lack of premises in the first place. And we see now with this center being built and opened, and how people go there with the joy, and how much it means to them. It means to them that possibility to stay. That this, as we mentioned before, that the generations of people were, with the years they were just leaving, and only older people were staying there. And now we see younger people staying there, because for the first time they will have a possibility to receive teaching in their own language, and to receive religious classes, and to practice their religion more freely, because now they have a space and they are free to do that. So it means life to them.
The significance was that at the time when the pastoral center was meant to open, there was a 65-year-old man coming from Chicago for his holidays, and he went to see, and he cried. He said, "That is the first time that I can see something like that, that I can feel that my son can stay here without being afraid for any kind of harassment or lack of faith." And as we mentioned, the church for them is not just a holy mass. Every single moment of social life is passing through the church. church for them is everything. And you can imagine through all these activities that happened just in just one church, for them they could feel the obstacles. But now with this space this space will provide for them possibility to educate themselves, to have the libraries, to have the kindergarten in Albanian language, to have special premises for the youngers. For them it was a great problem to see young people going around, with the coffee shops and everything else. They wanted to have them close to the church. They want to give them new possibilities to open new doors, so-called.
Ivan and Mirela, thank you very much for having been with us today and for sharing your experiences of Father Frano. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us today on our program, Where God Weeps. And if you'd like to know more about the situation of Catholics in Montenegro, I'd encourage you to consider the contact information at the end of this program. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye.